You were drawn here for a reason. What you're about to receive isn't just ancient wisdom. It's a living frequency, encoded in the very fabric of reality. This isn't theory. It's a blueprint, passed down quietly through generations, not in books, but in silence, symbols, and shifts of awareness. And now it's yours. Forget everything you've heard about the law of attraction from surface-level gurus. Strip away the noise, and what remains is a precise, primordial operating system. Your inner state broadcasts a signal, and the universe mirrors it with absolute fidelity. Not your wishes, not your words, your deepest resonance. This unfolds in 3 sacred phases. First, you learn to recognize the frequency you're already transmitting, the unseen current shaping your days. Second, you gain the power to consciously recalibrate that frequency toward what your soul truly longs for. And third, you witness how that refined signal crystallizes into your lived reality. But this knowledge isn't for the curious. It's for the committed, those ready to create not for ego, but for evolution. Let's begin. In a quiet harbor village, Marble tended her garden at dawn. She noticed something strange. When she worried over her plants, they wilted, even with perfect care. But when she spoke to them with warmth, expecting them to thrive, they reached for the sun with undeniable vigor. At first, she dismissed it as coincidence, but soon she saw the pattern everywhere. On days she woke believing life was against her, traffic jammed, calls cancelled, frustrations piled up. On days she moved with quiet trust, obstacles turned into openings. Her thoughts weren't just thoughts, they were transmissions. And the world responded like a faithful mirror. Your mind doesn't just think, it broadcasts. Every recurring belief, every quiet assumption sends out a signal that reality aligns with. If your inner soundtrack whispers, "not enough," the outer world echoes scarcity. But shift that frequency, even slightly, and everything reorganizes. Take Chester, a bookshop owner. One overwhelming morning, he paused, took one deep breath, and simply felt gratitude for being alive. That small act of presence changed everything. Lost shipments arrived. Rare books appeared. Customers walked in asking for exactly what he'd been hoping to sell. His moment of alignment didn't just affect him. It rippled outward, reshaping his entire day. This reveals a deeper truth. Focus amplifies. Whatever you give sustained attention to, especially when infused with feeling, grows in power. A single breath of genuine appreciation, held with awareness, can activate invisible currents of creation. So how do you tune your signal? Begin in stillness. Choose one intention, not as a demand, but as a gentle presence. Don't force it. Let it settle in your chest like soft light. Breathe with it. Let it become less of a thought and more of a frequency. In that space, you're not asking the universe for anything. You're telling it silently who you are, because it's not just your thoughts that shape reality. Your feelings are the real engine of manifestation. Think of feeling as the electricity that powers the blueprint. 2 people can hold the same idea, one with doubt, the other with quiet joy, and get entirely different results. Why? The emotional signature behind the thought is what the universe responds to. Alone, living in a bustling city, noticed this firsthand. When anxiety about money gripped her, bills spiked and opportunities vanished. But on days she moved with a sense of inner abundance, even without external proof, doors began to open. Not because she thought positive, but because she felt prosperous at her core. Virgil experienced the same shift. For years he carried resentment, convinced the world owed him. He kept hitting walls. Then one day he released that bitterness, not for others but for himself. As his inner climate changed, so did his outer world. Blocked paths cleared, old connections re-emerged, new ones formed. The universe doesn't care about your story. It responds to your emotional atmosphere. Your spirit also carries a unique frequency, your soul's signature, in the cosmic symphony. It's why some paths feel effortless, while others feel like climbing glass. You're not meant to mimic others. You're meant to resonate as yourself. Roy, a merchant, learned this the hard way. He copied every tactic of successful traders. Same routine, same language, same strategies, but success evaded him. Exhausted, he finally dropped the act and followed his own quiet intuition. Within days, clients sought him out, not for his technique, but for his authenticity. The universe honors truth, not performance. Your frequency isn't something to fix, it's something to honor. Sit quietly. Breathe. Let go of who you think you should be. Just be. In that stillness, you reconnect with your native resonance, the frequency only you can bring to life. But here's the catch. Your spoken affirmations mean little if your subconscious beliefs contradict them. Fiona repeated, "Abundance flows to me daily," yet her finances stayed stagnant. Why? Beneath her words lived a quiet certainty. There's never enough. And that hidden conviction was running the show. Your deep beliefs operate like background software. They shape your reality, whether you're aware of them or not. Harland, an artist, believed creativity required suffering, so he sabotaged every chance at ease. Only when he questioned that belief, what if joy fuels creation, did his work finally find its audience. Healing begins not by fighting these beliefs, but by meeting them with kindness. Sit with your hand on your heart. Ask gently, what do I truly believe about my worth? About what's possible for me? When a limiting belief surfaces, don't push it away. Breathe warmth into it, like comforting a scared child. In that compassion, transformation begins, and worthiness is key. Maisie wove beautiful tapestries but shrank from sharing them, convinced she wasn't important enough. Her longing was real, but so was her self-doubt. And when desire clashes with unworthiness, manifestation stalls. The universe can't fulfill what you believe you don't deserve. Gideon, a gifted musician, played to empty rooms for years because deep down, he felt success was for other people. Then, one night, after playing a song that moved even him, he whispered, "I'm allowed to receive this." In that moment of self-acceptance, everything shifted. Offers came, audiences grew, not because he changed his music, but because he changed his receptivity. Your actions too carry energy, even before you speak. Della, watching her father's market stall, noticed customers responded to her mood, not her words. On days she felt light and open, they flocked to her. On tense days, they avoided her, even with the same smile. Your presence arrives before you do. It speaks in silence. Thatcher, a shepherd, kept clashing with neighbors over grazing land until he realized he was entering every conversation armored for battle. One morning, he softened his stance. No change in words, just a shift in energy. Suddenly, solutions emerged. Conflict dissolved. The field responds to the frequency you bring. And indecision? It's a frequency too. Waverley sat frozen between two paths in a meadow, unable to choose. As hours passed, even birds avoided her. Her uncertainty had become a force field of stagnation. The universe moves with certainty, even if it's imperfect. Action born of clarity, however small, creates momentum. Oswin, facing ruin, sold one ring. That tiny step broke the paralysis. One sale led to another. Momentum built. Clarity attracts alignment. Your expectations also shape reality more than your hopes. Iris tended her garden faithfully, yet it barely bloomed. Meanwhile, her neighbors flourished. One day, Iris caught herself thinking, "She has the magic touch. I never succeed with plants." In that moment, she saw it. Her expectation of failure was stronger than her hope for success, and expectation always wins. Lyall, a fisherman, scanned the horizon each morning in fear of empty nets. His nets stayed empty. Then one stormy night, a strange peace washed over him. He didn't pray harder. He simply expected goodness. The next day, his nets overflowed. Nothing changed externally, only his inner certainty. But that clarity requires stillness. Bo, a merchant, noticed his busiest, most anxious days yielded the least. His mind raced about competition, prices, survival. The more chaotic his inner world, the more his outer world mirrored it. Only when he paused, even briefly, did things settle. Opal, a healer, began taking silent moments before seeing each patient. Her effectiveness doubled, not from new skills but from centered presence. Creation flows from calm. Like a painter needs a steady hand, you need a quiet mind to shape reality accurately. Stillness isn't passive. It's the fertile ground where intention takes root. And in that stillness, the universe speaks through synchronicity. Alma, overwhelmed by mental noise, paused at her loom. In the silence, sunlight hit her threads in perfect alignment. Then came bird songs that matched her rhythm, chance encounters with perfect timing. When inner static fades, divine guidance becomes clear. Florian, a scholar drowning in theories, stopped one evening. In the quiet, he noticed a pattern in his bookshelf, titles that together revealed the insight he'd sought for months. The universe doesn't shout. It whispers in patterns, numbers, coincidences, when you're quiet enough to hear. But be precise. Prudence wished for more abundance. The universe delivered, but as overwhelming. Chaos, not ease. Vagueness invites misalignment. Edwin refined his desire, not just success, but the deep satisfaction of creating work that touched souls. Suddenly, opportunities matched that exact feeling. The universe responds to emotional precision. Yet don't cling. Clara declared her goals fiercely, jaw clenched, body tense. The harder she grasped, the more they slipped away. Benton, exhausted from controlling every detail of his career, finally let go. He kept his intention, but released the need to force it. Within weeks, effortless opportunities appeared. Surrender isn't giving up, it's trusting the intelligence behind life. And visualization, it's not about mental pictures, it's about sensory embodiment. Hattie imagined her dream life in vivid detail, but it felt distant. Then she shifted. She felt the sun on her skin, smelled the air of her new home, touched the textures of her success. In that moment, it became real, and the universe responded. Opposition, too, has consequences. Sadie hated her neighbor's wind chimes. The more she resisted them, the louder they seemed. She realized her focus, even negative, was feeding them. What you fight, you fuel. Amos stopped battling his circumstances. Instead, he gently turned his attention to what he preferred. The problems didn't vanish, but their power over him did. Your energy also ripples outward. Eloise noticed. On anxious days, her whole office tensed. On peaceful days, harmony spread. Vernon entered a heated meeting after morning stillness, and, without saying a word, the room calmed. You're not just in the world, you shape it with your presence. True action flows from alignment, not effort. Silly moved her stall on a quiet inner nudge, not logic. Business boomed. Orin stopped pushing for success and returned to creating from joy. That single inspired act attracted more than months of hustling. Not all motion is progress, only that which arises from inner resonance. Listen to those subtle nudges. Flora took a longer route on a gut feeling and met the person who changed her career. Baxter followed a quiet sense of rightness over logical analysis and landed in his purpose. The universe guides through feeling, not force. Your relationships are mirrors. Nellie saw how her inner state shaped how others treated her. Her irritable neighbor reflected her own harsh self-judgment. Irving, once defensive, began nurturing self-worth, and the world responded with unexpected kindness. Heal your relationship with yourself, and all others shift. Forgiveness isn't for others, it's for you. Clementine carried old wounds, unknowingly blocking new blessings. When she released the grip, not to excuse but to free herself, doors reopened. Peril forgave his younger self. Instantly, synchronicities flowed. Forgiveness clears the channel for grace, and receiving is its own art. Birdie visualized success but unconsciously resisted it. Roscoe, a scribe, finally stopped proving his worth, and commissions poured in. Like a flower, you don't chase the sun. You open to it, trust, relax, receive. Your self-concept is your anchor. Violet, the gardener, bloomed miracles when she remembered her connection to nature's wisdom. Cyrus shifted from spice seller to keeper of ancient flavor, and his shop became a sanctuary. The universe mirrors who you believe you are. Expand your inner vessel. Fern watched a butterfly emerge and realized her dreams felt too big because her self-image was too small. Harlem, once a copyist, allowed himself to embody author, and his own stories found readers. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe you can hold. Synchronicities are cosmic confirmations. Mabel saw repeating numbers, phrases, patterns, not random, but guidance. Rupert noticed books, conversations, even tea leaves pointing toward expansion. He followed and thresholds opened. The universe leaves breadcrumbs for those paying attention. Words carry energy. Zelda's flowers wilted at harsh tones, bloomed at gratitude. Dawson shifted from "I'm trying" to "I'm allowing," and his life softened. Language isn't just sound, it's creative force. Choose words that resonate with the reality you're becoming. Gratitude isn't just thanks, it's a magnet. Ida thanked traders for what already was, and received more. Quentin whispered gratitude for patrons not yet arrived, and they came. Appreciation isn't reaction, it's invocation. Desire and detachment dance together. Sylvie's garden wouldn't sprout while she hovered in anxiety. Only when she let go did life emerge. Milton painted his heart out, but released the need for a gallery show. An invitation arrived days later. Want deeply, hold lightly. Consistency beats intensity. Pearl saw that steady calm brought more than forced positivity. Winston maintained quiet trust daily, and his bookstore grew not through hustle, but atmosphere. The universe favors stable signals over emotional spikes. Generosity completes the circuit. Alton gave freely and received unexpectedly. Greta shared bread not to get, but because she already felt whole, and abundance flowed. Give from lack, and you reinforce lack. Give from fullness, and you amplify it. Finally, embody your future self. Willa stood in her shop not as a struggling seller, but as the graceful merchant she knew she was. Customers responded. Sterling didn't try to become a sanctuary owner. He felt the peace, confidence and certainty of one. Reality reorganized around that truth. And the final secret? You are not separate from the field. Tessa realized she wasn't calling to the universe. She was the universe, expressing as her. Barnaby touched an oak and knew he and the tree, the sky, his desires, were one awareness in motion. You're not attracting reality. You're emanating it. So stop seeking, start remembering. You are the source, the witness, the creator, the field itself. And from this place, calm, clear, and certain, your reality will reorganize, not by force but by resonance.